Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today I would like to make a card with you using the Papercraft Society box number 40, and this box has been designed by Sheena Douglas. Now this box is it's very artistic. It's for painters and colorists and that type of thing, but there were some really cool stamps that came in the kit. This one here and this one. We got watercolor card, and there were lots of goodies in the box, and have a look at the unboxing. It's listed in the description, so if you click on the more button down there, you'll be able to see the link to my unboxing and see what came in it. So these are the two things that I really took from the box that I would be able to use in my card making. Now, there are some great hints and tips and tricks and inspiration in the booklet that comes in the box, but I thought I would use these stamps to make a card, and I have some dies in my stash. I have these. They're the Made to Surprise Showstopper card dies. Now these dies, there's 13 dies in this. You can see them here. This is the main die. Then we have some mats and layers. And then this part is the Showstopper. These dies are made by Samantha, or Sam, from Mixed Up Crafts. She has designed these dies, and her products are the Made to Surprise range. So I wanted to use this die in particular with you. Now this is my card. This is my first attempt, and I love everything about it, but I want to make some changes. So this die here, which is this die, and I'll quickly show you the dies when I get them. They come inside a plastic bag in this envelope. So I take them out of this and I put them onto some magnetic sheets. I stick them onto 300 GSM cardstock, and that's how then I keep them in my stash on my shelf. So this is the main die, and it cuts out this piece here. Now, if you cut out two of these and turn the second one around, it gives you this big opening, and that's this piece here. This will cut mats and layers to go in here if you want to do a Showstopper card. And it'll measure 5 by 8 inches, but I didn't want to go that big. There are also the mats and layers for this cutout, so you can put your, have your card base, your mats and layers then on top. But I wanted to do a scene on mine using the lovely using the lovely stamps that came in the kit. So I've taken this stamp here of the tree, and I have used some of the sentiment stamps you can see here, and I've also taken the little birds and I've stamped this twice. So I love the idea of this being a card. I think it looks really good. It'll stand pretty well on a mantelpiece or a shelf, but it can be a bit unstable. Now if you die cut the second one and put that on, it stabilizes the whole thing, stands perfectly. So what I've done is I've added mine onto a 5x7 card, and you can see there then it stands perfect. The card base helps to stabilize this one, but you don't have to do it this way. This is just how I wanted to do it. So you can see here I've stamped the tree and the hills. I have done some cloud backgrounds. Now my cloudy background, I took a piece of acetate, and what I did was I cut out a shape. Now I have a die in my stash that will give the cloud shape, and I just die cut it into a piece of acetate, and then I use that to blend on. But I didn't like how I finished it here. I think this should have been my last cloud line, and then had my hills. And again, with this one I free-handed it. I hope you can see I just cut an edge two different types of edges on a piece of acetate that I had thrown in my stash, and did that. So with you, I want to do my cloud scene up here. I want to do my hills, etc. here, and I want to do my stamping. I think my tree, I have it stamped here so it goes onto the inside, but I think really I should have centered my tree in this area and then had it go over. Now the stamp, you can see it here, it only goes so far, so it won't go the whole way of the card, but I just took a grey fine liner pen and I kind of accentuated and brought it out further. So this is going to be the card we'll make. I'm going to do all the blending and all the stamping, etc. with you. So if you'd like to see how I made this card, sit back, relax and enjoy my video. And don't forget that all the card measurements, etc. will be down in the description below. And as of recording this card, the die for this card front is available on Craftstash. I'll leave a link down below. If it's sold out by the time this gets published on YouTube, then I will put a little sold out beside it. But you can still go on to Craftstash. You can leave an email with them and they will let you know when this comes back into stock. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut out and get what we need ready to do this. So here I have a card base and it measures 10 by 7 scored at 5. Now my card base is a shop bought card base and it is true to size of 5 by 7. So the envelope will be a little bit bigger. Some shop made shop bought cards, they're actually smaller. They're about 1/8 of an inch shorter and slimmer, so make sure you check the measurements if it's a shop bought card that you're using. This one it's exactly 5 by 7, and then this is the piece that I have die cut out. This is our Trifold base. Now you can see that there are some cut lines in this and there are some score lines. The score lines you may find are faint when you put this through your die cutting machine, and what Sam recommends is that you go over all the score lines with a scoring tool, and the reason for that is we're just enforcing those score lines. So that's what I've done here. I've just reinforced those score lines to make it easier for me. So once you have that done, then this is going to be a mountain fold and this is going to be a valley fold. This will be a mountain fold and this will be a mountain fold. This one will be a mountain fold and this one will be a mountain fold. So I'm going to do them now. So really the best thing to do is just kind of encourage your folds by just teasing them upwards like that. Then I'm going to tease this one up and this one up, and then I'm going to tease this one up and this one up, and then I can tease this one down, this one down, and this one down. So it's just a matter of encouraging the paper where you want it to go. And as it comes up, then you can press on them harder. So I'm going to come around from the back now and I'm going to pinch those valley folds. And then once I have that done, I can again encourage them down. Now I'm just going to make sure that they're nice and straight because they would go off at an angle on you. So make sure they're nice and straight. That one is there. And then I'll encourage those over. And then I can turn it around this way and do the same again. Ensure that that one is straight, that one is straight, and that one is. And then we can take our bone folder or our scoring tool and just burnish those score lines, and that's really important, burnishing those score lines. And you can see I'm doing these ones, I'm not pushing down here. I don't want to mark the card. I'm only pushing on the edges there, and I'm going from underneath here on this one. So I'll do the same on these and burnish those really well, and then I can do the top ones too. Lovely. And that'll give us a lovely fold then on our card, and you can see there then our card will sit open like so. Now when this is on its own, I just found it wasn't sitting very well. So that's why with these dies, you generally make another one of these and put them together. And then when the two are there, they'll help it to stand. So that's why I used a card blank behind. Now you can check and make sure that this is to size. You might find that your card base is a little bit big. You can always cut it down. But this looks about good here. It needs just a little trimming. So I'm going to trim my card base down to fit my template. So I need to take literally an 1/8 or a 1/16, just a sliver of the side and the top of my card base so that this piece fits perfectly on it. So I'm going to do that next. So now that fits perfectly. I'm much happier with that. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is do my blending and put my scene on my panel. So I'm going to do that. I'll put my card base away until I'm ready to use it. I'll fold all this down flat. Now I know we burnished it all, so it's up to yourself. You can do your scene and then fold and burnish them all. Either way works out fine, I found, for me. So whatever you like to do yourself. Okay, so I want to prep now to do my ink blending and my stamping. Let's do that next. So I have my cloudy background and I have my hills background in my acetate, and I'm going to now do some blending on here. I have my inks that I'm going to use. Now you can use Distress Oxides, whatever you like to use. I've got some VersaFine Clair inks. I find they blend fine. They probably don't give as smooth a blend as the Distress Oxides and those, but I'm quite happy to use these inks, so that's what I'm going to use today. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to move my green inks out of the way, and I'm going to use my blue inks, and I'm going to go with Belle first, and I'm going to ink around the edge of my card. So I'm just going to bring that in around the edge and get a nice inking around the edge of my card, just like that. And then once I have around the edges done, and I'm only going to come down about halfway because we'll have our hills around here. And once I have that done, then I can do some inking with my cloudy sky. So I'm going to have my sentiment along here. So I'll add a little bit of ink to my brush and then start bringing that in. And I'm not adding too much pressure on the head of the brush, because it's always a lot easier to add ink than it is to take it away. So you can add your ink down, and when you're happy with it, then you can move it away. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit here. And you can see here my stencil is a little bit short, but that's fine. I can just move it over. So I'll pop some ink on there and then bring the brush up and blend on. And I'm holding that down there tightly. and then I can lift this up and I can add this in, so I can have it going whichever way. So I'll just add the circle on there, and then I can bring that down, and then I'm going to add another little one here. I think I'll go like this one here. And this is the fun of it, really, is adding in, you know, your little clouds how you like them. I'm going to move this over then, and I think I'll bring this one like that. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to take my hill, and I'm going to add that here because I want, you know, my greenery. You can see here I did a cloud along here, and then I did my hill in green, but I didn't like how this looked, so I'm going to do my hill, and then I'll do it in green this way, and then I can blend up to match it. Now I'm going to move into my warm breeze. So I think I shall bring that up there. And this is a lighter blue color. And I'm going to bring this over then, so it'll join up there, kind of like that. And then I can blend that blue in. So I'm going to bring that blue into my clouds now. Where the clouds are white, I'm going to blend in this lighter blue color. And you can see there I'm just tapping off the excess before I go onto the page, because I don't want a heavy smudge of the blue. And I like that. I think that looks nice. Now we can start on our green hills. So I'll move the cloudy one out from there. Now I do want to clean this off because it has some blue on it. So I'll clean that off. And then I think what I'll do is I shall blend on some of the green. So I'm going to put my blues away because I've an awful habit I've an awful habit, guys, of dipping the wrong brush into the wrong ink. So I'll move my blue brush away and my blue inks away, and now I can add my green. So I think I shall bring my and this will give us our hills. And it doesn't matter if our green blends into the blue. We could always have taken our stencil and turned that around this way. So I could put that down. Which way up am I going? So I will get it in a moment that way. So I could put that there and blend up to it if I want a crisp line, and I could move it over. And that would give me, but I don't mind if my green blends into my blue a little bit. So I'm going to move over here now and continue this on. And then I can take this hilly scene here and I'm going to bring that through here. So our tree line here, you can see our tree line here is pretty straight. So I'm going to have this kind of going pretty much straight-ish. And it doesn't matter if there's some brush marks or, you know, because no one is looking at it that closely that they're going to be going, oh, she has brush marks there and she's got this here. And, you know, people aren't really, they're not like that. So don't be worrying about it too much. Now, I think I'm happy with those two hills there. What I want to do is I want to take this green and I'm going to go around the edges, and I'm just going to darken up those edges, and then as I come in I'm going to lighten off, and I'm going to come around here as well, and then I'll come in with another shade of green and blend into that. I just want to darken up the edges there like that. Lovely. And now I'm going to go for another green. This one is green Oasis. And I'll blend in a bit of this. I'm going to start swinging my card around actually. I'm just going to give this a wipe, clean up a little bit before I start moving my card around. Sometimes it's easier to move your card or your paper around than it is to actually move the brush. Now I want to add in a little bit in here. Lovely. I'm going to go back now to the Shady Lane. And bring some more of that in. And like I said, you can see there on this, you know, there are textures and things going on, but I don't mind that. If you want a smoother blend, then definitely use your oxides, your distress inks, etc. But I don't mind the bit of texture that's going on in the card. I think it makes it look, you know, like clumps of grass, etc. So I'm really happy with that now. The next thing I want to do is I want to add in my birds flying and my tree and my two sentiments. And to do that, I'm going to use my stamping platform. Now, I recently got the Creative Craft products stamping platform. I have two Misties. I've got the large and the smaller Misty. And I have to say, I'm actually loving this platform. And I'm not just saying that, it's an honest review. I find this one really great because when you close over the lid, it's actually raised up. You have to press down to get your stamping. So I find that really, really good. So even with my stamp on this side, it's not going to mark the paper underneath until I press down. One thing I did do with this is I took a piece of acetate and I added a strip of acetate here, because otherwise the only edge to this piece is what's here. But sometimes I want to have my piece in that's up and into the corner, and by having the acetate, and it's very thin acetate, it just catches there. So I can stamp off it, you know, I can move it up and stamp where I want, but I like having that I can put a piece of cardstock in there and I know every time the cardstock goes in there. So if I want to do multiple stampings and I have 3 pieces of 4x4, I can put one piece in there, put my stamp on it, pick it up with my platform, and then I can stamp on that piece of cardstock, take it away, add a new piece in, put it into that corner, stamp it down. So that was the only little addition I made to this, but other than that, I love it. I think it's brilliant. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is stamp my tree. Now, I found the last time when I stamped it over too far, and I know this time I want it mostly on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my page in this way, and that way I can then have my little fence coming off, and that way I know I'll have most of my tree on here. So I'm going to rotate this around a little bit. I have it up and into the corner there, and I can set my tree where I want it. So I do want it up here, something like that. So it's just this little bit of the tree is going to be just in there. The tree will be much more over this way for me. So I'll just make sure you're in shot. Sometimes I forget to make sure you're in shot. Sorry about that. So I have it in here, and I want it up towards the sky. Now we could bring it up like this and stamp it up here. I like that idea. I like that idea of having it up there. I think I'll bring it up to about there. I want to make sure that this is stamped on this part here. So I'm watching where these lines are going, because I don't want them kind of up here. And I'm going to make sure it's stamped in the middle there. So I'm happy with my placement. I'm going to pick this up, and then I can stamp down. And I'm going to stamp this now in a black ink. And you can use either your VersaFine Clair Ink, or you can use your VersaFine Clair Nocturne or your VersaFine Onyx Black. It's more or less much. Personally, I just tend to go for the Clair ink. So I'm going to add some ink to my stamp. And the great thing about having a stamp positioner is I'll be able to go back in and do this a couple of times. So I can press this down and then give it a minute for the ink to soak in, and it didn't take just there. A little pressure, that's better. Loving that. So I'm going to again go in and give it another stamping, just to really solidify the black color. And again, I'll just press down on that. And there we go, that's lovely. Now, you can just bring this over and finish it along. Just take a fine liner pen. You can use a grey or a black. And that will then give you more or less the same. And you don't have to be perfect with this. You can see I'm not being perfect with it. I'm actually going to take my black for a better color difference. Lovely. There we go. Happy with that now. So the next thing I want to do is stamp my sentiment. So I'm going to give my stamp a little wipe, and I can take that off, and then I can add on my happy days ahead, and I'm going to pop them. I think I'll have them now. Where I had it the last time was up a little bit, so you can see how it looks like that. So I think I'll go for similar again. So now it's a matter of stamping our sentiment and our birds, and I'm going to stamp the happy days ahead first. Then I'm going to stamp my birds, and I'm being very aware of when the card folds, so I'm happy with those there. I'm also going to rotate my cardstock around so I can put my good luck with pastures new stamp down. I want to make sure that that comes up nicely. And then I'm going to stamp some of the little birds over on the left hand side under the happy days. So I'm happy with my stamping here. I'm happy with how it looks. Now I want to show you on my card base, can you see in here, I've actually done some inking on my card base. You can see in here as well. Let me just see, yeah. In here I've inked. If we don't ink in there, what will happen is when you put your piece on your card, when the card is closed, it will look perfect. But when you open the card, you have these white spaces behind. So I didn't really like the look of that, and I decided what I was going to do was ink blend those. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a little bit of ink to the top left and to the bottom left, just to kind of blend that in. So now when we add our piece on, we've got the green background and the blue background, and I hope you can see, oh you can see there. I just think it takes that harsh white off there, and then when the card is closed you won't even notice it. So I'm delighted with that now. All we need to do is add this panel onto our card base. So I'm going to do that next, and to do that I'm going to use my Collal glue. So I've taken this stamp set, it's from box 21 of the Papercraft Society, and I have used two of the stamps, the New Place, New Dreams, New Memories, and then Good Luck on Your New Adventure. You can see I stamped that inside, and our tree is in there as well. So that is our card for today. This is made using the dies from Made to Surprise, and it's the Showstopper cards die. It's given us this trifold pop-up here on the front. We've done some ink blending, and we've used the stamps from the Papercraft Society box number 40 by Sheena Douglas, and I just love the tree. I love the background on this with the birds up in the sky, etc. I really do like how this has come out. It kind of, you're drawn into the center here, and I don't have anything in the center. Now you could always stamp a sentiment in there if you liked, but I like that you're just looking down on this scene. I think it's you know, for me it's lovely and calming, etc. So I hope you've enjoyed this card too, and I hope it's inspired you. If you've enjoyed my video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, please do click the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post a new video. And that's it. Links are below for the Your Cards and Crafts group, as well as to this Papercraft Society kit. As far as I'm aware, it's all sold out, but you can sign up for the next kit that's due out, the next crafting box. Yeah, so that's it. I'm going to leave it there, folks, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.